Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Alternative Angle, the show where we look at things another way. On today's episode, I've actually gotten a lot of requests about how I make my animations. And so this video is going to be a walkthrough of my process from start to finish. And because I hate lengthy explanations before how-tos, we're just gonna jump in. Right now we're looking at a Google Doc where I park all of my shots. This is the animation I want, psychologists arguing back and forth. So the first thing I do is I go to Google Images and I pull up a nice clip art image of what I want. Let's see what happens. Clapboard. That looks good. So we save that. That looks good too. They're gonna be arguing, so let's get some angries in there. Then we go into a really basic photo editor on the Mac. This is the editor that comes with your Mac. And we're just gonna erase all of the white space around these ladies. And we're gonna do the same thing with the gentleman. It's a lot easier just converting it to a PNG here. And then we're gonna put it into Keynote. Make sure you have a green background set up in Keynote because we're gonna cut that away in iMovie, and that's how we get it. The first thing I'm going to advise here is to make sure that everything you want to use is already in your slide. So they're gonna be arguing, they're gonna be angry. So I'm just adding the little angry markers in here. And it's just like making a PowerPoint for school. You just preview through how they look, and you decide which one you want. Just, play around with it. So right now I've decided I want them to pop at each other. I want to give them different toggles for the argument so that it really looks like they might be arguing. Another great rule of thumb is to make sure some of your builds happen together. There are certain rules in Keynote that make things a little difficult. Like you can't have two builds running simultaneously that are the same. So I can't make the teacher gang on the left jiggle and the guy gang on the right jiggle at the same time. It's not gonna work because they're both jiggling, so. Let's do a test play. Okay, I actually really like that. I think I'm gonna leave it. So let's export it to a movie. This is just me picking a nice background, and let's head over to iMovie and drop it in. See how it looks. We extend the background on the bottom so that it takes up the same amount of space as the top. We cut away the green screen, and this is the finished product. Very easy, very simple, very basic. So now let's do a second one. A distinguished looking gentleman is chatting with a therapist about being born. A pair of scissors appears and frightens him. So we're just gonna once again pick through all of the images we want. I want him to look scared in the end, so let's change out his eyes. He's talking about being born, so let's pull a light at the end of the tunnel. This looks like a likely therapist. Once again, we're just gonna get rid of the background and save it as a nice PNG of both those images. Oh yes, this one is great because it requires a little more work. We're gonna cut away the background, but I also want him to look a little more black and white. Yes, I like the way he looks better now. So we're just gonna duplicate our old slide and get rid of everything on it to make that green really stand out. Now, this is a nice hot tip for you guys. I like to take a screenshot of the background I'm going to use and adjust the transparency on it so that I know where things should be placed inside the green screen so that the image lines up properly. You can see me doing that now. You have to remember when you're doing this to delete the transparent background. Yep, that is comical and I love it. Now we just pull Dr. Person, we sit her in the seat. You always want to make sure your first build is set to after transition on start so that it just starts automatically. I have them both bouncing so it looks like they're talking to each other. Let's set I'm readjusting the delay counter here to make it look kind of natural even though the two builds are happening together. I've made a custom shape here that is a call out. I'm going to walk you guys through custom shapes in a little bit. But this call out doesn't come preset in Keynote. Now I'm just going to adjust the background of the light at the end of the tunnel so that it fits into the bubble really nicely. Okay, so you see me looking for a memory bubble. They don't have it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to custom adjust this cloud. So you're going to right click and hit make editable. And then you're just going to play around with the shape until it kind of looks the way you want. Let's make it nice and big. And you see how each of these points, as I pull them away, it changes the shape. There are both sharp edges and rounded edges. So I want a whole bunch of rounded edges because I want it to look like a thought bubble, and I don't see that here. So really the object of the game is to play around with the shape in Keynote until you can make whatever custom shape you want. You should cut away things, get rid of certain other things. Just play around. I slowed this part down so you guys could really see the process here. I like the way this looks. Okay, I like the way this looks even more. You see what I did there? Playing around with the sharp and smooth points here. Now we're just gonna pull that outer edge. Get it looking exactly how we want. That's not bad. So now we're gonna right click and save that to my shapes. You can name it whatever you want. I'm naming it Thought Bubble. Ooh, so I copied and pasted the shape a couple of times. I changed the size of it and I added the light at the end of the tunnel into this call out. I made that orange so that I could see. Here I'm overlaying these two thought bubbles because I want them to appear in the same space. I want it to look like the scissors are appearing out of nowhere. So that's why I made it orange and overlaid it so that it would be exactly the same size. And now I'm subbing the scissors into our little thought bubble here. Now we just add some effects. I want the scissors to appear and for the light at the end of the tunnel to disappear at roughly the same time. There we go. That looks great. Let's add a nice delay so that even though they're happening at the same time, we get some time before it does that. Now we cut away that transparent background and export it to a movie. Let's dump it into iMovie. So once again, we're gonna extend the lower background, cut away the green and blue screen, and let's take a good long look at this. Love how the eyes change right there. And so that is it. Well, guys and dolls, I hope that explanation was thorough and helpful. If you have any questions, park them in the comments and I will be happy to answer them. Before signing out, I need to give a special shout out to Bethany Smith for being most active on the channel. Thank you, Bethany. Your shares, comments, likes, and engagement keep this channel up and growing. If you would like to come for Bethany's spot as resident best in class, feel free to like, share, comment on this video, and click the notifications bell so that you know when we are uploading new content. If you want a producer credit on our show, feel free to join Delcy and Johari on our Patreon subscribers. So thank you so much, Delcy, Johari, and Bethany. You guys keep me strong and going. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, stay sharp.